It's been a long road for you legally. What's your reaction to today's judgment?
Thank you for having me. I mean, today is just an incredible victory, not necessarily just for me, but for people across Britain, across the world, and within Palestine. The court has ruled that the Palestine Action ban was unlawful since its inception. We knew that this law was unjust, but now the High Court has also ruled that it is also unlawful.
The ban, though, remains in place pending an appeal, which the government says is coming. What is your reaction to that, and what is your guidance for supporters in light of that?
Yeah, so the prescription at the current moment stays in place. It is quite confusing, and I think the way that this has been handled from the start by the government has been a complete mess. It's led to the arrest of thousands of people simply for holding signs. The ban is unlawful, but for the time being, it does remain in place. This is a resounding victory. We know that we have won in the High Court, and it's just a matter of time before this ban is lifted, and we'll be arguing that the ban should be stayed, which is just legal jargon for meaning that the ban will not have legal effect during the appeal, but we will be arguing that in the days and weeks to come. So hopefully this will be resolved as soon as possible.
Specifically, one of the grounds on which you won this was on disproportionality. You can see that the judgment could have perhaps gone the other way should the activities of your group, of your supporters, have been seen to be more extensive on the criminal damage side of things. So given that this ban remains in place, the government is going to appeal it, will you be urging your supporters not to be engaging in, for example, criminal damage type activities while that appeal is heard?
Well, banning Palestine Action never banned direct action as a tactic, and people are able to continue direct action against weapons factories if they so wish, just not under the Palestine Action banner, or that would be a terrorist offence. And I think that is really clear. And I think it's important what you said for people to note that the reason Palestine Action was prescribed unlawfully, let's be clear on that, is because of property damage against the weapons trade, the Israeli weapons industry. Property damage of weapons which otherwise would have been used to massacre people in Gaza. Palestine Action was about saving lives. It's the very opposite of what people consider terrorism to be, and that's why we're so grateful that the High Court has come to this decision today.
Well, the Home Secretary would like to highlight that the court did acknowledge that your group did engage in terrorist acts, including that damage of military equipment at Brize Norton.
What they are referring to is acts of property damage against the weapons trade, weapons which otherwise would have been used to massacre the people in Palestine. Ordinary people, most people understand that that is not terrorism. Acting to save lives is a necessity, and not a single action by Palestine Action has actually gone to trial and been proven to be a terrorist act. So although the Terrorism Act can include property damage, that has not been found in any single action conducted by Palestine Action to date. So I think that's really worth noting. And the breadth and how broad the act is.
Do you deny that the High Court had found that any of your group's actions were considered to be acts of terror?
No, I acknowledge that the Terrorism Act as it stands includes serious property damage, and that Palestine Action did conduct property damage against the Israeli weapons industry. I'm just clarifying for your viewers that not a single action by Palestine Action, which has gone to trial, has ever found to be to fall under the definition of terrorism. So I just think that's an important point to clarify, and that it has been heavily criticised by experts on this topic to include property damage as a means of calling an action or a group a terrorist organisation. It falls outside of the international definition of terrorism, as the UN Special Rapporteur has put it. And it's the first time that any group has been prescribed for property damage on the sole basis of property damage. But thankfully, the High Court has ruled that this ban has been unlawful since its inception.
And what have you been told, Huda, or what is your understanding of what this means for charges which have been issued so far? Nearly 3,000 of them. Are they to be quashed? What do we know?
So as it stands, the High Court has ruled that this is unlawful and has proposed that the order be quashed, which means that legally it never happened and it was always unlawful. So all of those arrests have essentially been ruled as unlawful. When that will take effect is a little bit unclear at the moment, and will become clearer in the next few days and weeks about what the next steps ahead are. Even if there is an appeal, the order could still be stayed. But the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, deciding to appeal, announcing that she will appeal this prescription, has put thousands of people in legal limbo unnecessarily. They've already been unlawfully arrested simply for holding a sign which says, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action." This needs to be put to bed. The High Court has made a decision and the government should respect that. This has been a huge political mistake and overreach since the very beginning. And it was one that was made based on lies by Yvette Cooper, lies which have been proven to be false. Jonathan Hall, the independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, admitted that there was no secret intel of supposed disturbing future attacks by Palestine Action. That was a lie. There was no connections to supposed Iranian funding or whatever smears they used to try and manufacture consent for this prescription. Yvette Cooper should resign. Shabana Mahmood should stop this nonsense right now. And, we look forward to the day Palestine Action is officially deprescribed.
Well, the appeal is coming, we understand, from the Home Secretary. The High Court said, and I'm coming back to this disproportionality point again, that Palestine Action had not reached the level, scale or persistence to justify prescription as a terror group. Now, that is something that, depending on the activities of your supporters, could change. So what are you, as co-founder, wanting to say to your supporters to make sure that that balance of judgment holds?
Well, I think at the moment we are focused on getting Palestine Action deprescribed. Anything other than that would be an offence, even though the ban has been ruled unlawful. So we will see what is to come. Palestine Action was made up of groups and a wide network of many different people who took direct action against the Israeli weapons industry to save Palestinian lives. And people will no doubt be aware of the potential consequences of taking direct action. But I think it's really important to note that Palestine Action was about saving lives in Palestine. It was
okay,
about
so just to be very clear, you are not asking your supporters to desist in that direct action, as you call it, which can include criminal damage.
As of at the current time being, Palestine Action is a prescribed organisation, so it is not active as Palestine Action.